Hello. I'm here. All right. What's up, everyone? Anyone? Anyone? So today we're going to kick off a new project. Another project. But we haven't finished the last one. Well, Warehouse Deals is my last project. And right now with the alerting in there, we just got that in. It's good to go for a while until I notice another bug. So I tested out the alert. I was getting an alert. I haven't got an alert from an actual product yet, though. So I'm still waiting for my first alert in that sense. But once that comes, ooh, buddy. But until then. So until I see a bug in there, I'm going to just let it ride out for a little while. I might have some more features to add on it later, but this is the other project I've been working on. Let me show you my screen. We are now looking at my newly launched website, ched.dev. So it's not much to it yet. This is the home page. As you can see, there's not really anything on there. Hey, Surfy, what's up? Nice to see you again. No more warehouse deals today, but working on some other stuff for now, but we'll come back to that project again at some point. So yeah, looking at my, also, if you hear me or a, you can add a new, I've got a counter now, or feel free to throw that in if you hear it. So this website is a Next.js app. A lot of my websites lately have been. I've been enjoying kind of the simplicity of getting up and running on Next.js. So this is just a basic website. I've got one page that's kind of public right now. Ooh, good one. Good catch. So I can switch to so. I'll have to add a so counter. I've got code projects, which is the projects that I'll be working on stream. We've worked on warehouse deals. I've got the link to the YouTube playlist if you want to go back and watch some of that. And a study book app I haven't showed on stream yet, but this is a pretty cool app that I've been using for personal studying of terms, topics, questions, answers. You can track all this stuff in here and then kind of use it as a flashbook app. I'd like to build in some more tools, studying tools into it. So those are the parts that I'll bring it on stream and I'll start coding with that. But most of that has been coded off of stream. And CSS Color Picker, we started on that. I've only done, I think, 2 episodes on it. And I need to finish that off. Ooh, I got a I got a couple more things to do on it, so I really need to get out the bulk of the styling on that one. The functionality is there right now, and I've got a React.js connection to it as well. So that one will be coming back at some point in the future. I built that so I could add it to this other project that I don't have on here, but I would like to show you guys sometime, is a tracker app that I built. It's a personal data tracker to allow you to track kind of anything you want. You can track like exercise, hours, purchases. Dang. That counter is going up real quick. So I'd like to show that someday as well. And I added my social links here, but I'm going to keep growing this site as we go. One of the pages that I want to work on today is, I have this section just called Code in Bits right now. It's just a local thing. And I'm looking at, refresh. I'm looking at building it out as kind of like a lesson structure thing. So I'm thinking of it as an idea of maybe eventually gathering enough content to make it into some kind of like e-publish book. But for now, I'm just going to start building it up more and more and more. And you can see there's like the 1.0. Oh, I don't know if the voice counter could be, or if the counter could be voice activated. Maybe if there is some, what is it called? Like closed caption accessibility features I've seen where people take their audio and it gets converted into text. If I could somehow read that text and just check for that would work. And we'll get there someday. Once I get an OBS for broadcasting, I can do a lot cooler things. I still haven't done that. I'm still on StreamYard. I'm waiting to get a new desk. I looked up some desk places nearby. I'm probably going to go check them out tomorrow. And then that will give me more space on my desk and I can get some more legit stuff like a real microphone. I'm actually going off my laptop right now. Maybe even a real camera. Also going off my laptop right now. So it will be expanded in the future. And then there's a lot of cool things. I'll add the drop game for sure. The drop game is really fun to play. I play that a lot on other streams. And we can maybe build some other features to help integrate the chat more into the stream. I know that will be more fun. So I've got this content right now. It's just going off of JSON basically in my files. And it's, you know, I'm at the point where I'm ready to start writing the content. So I basically prototyped this in the UI and there wasn't much in the writing. This is all fake content right now. But I would like to actually start filling this out. So that's what I want to build this tool for, this new tool. And it's basically just going to be a content API. I'm going to have posts. I'm familiar with the JSON? JSON is across all languages nowadays, so yeah, that's nice. But we'll be diving into some JavaScript soon. I know you said your project was on Python. Do you know JavaScript, Surfy? Have you worked with it before? Not sure what's your... Python might be your language of choice, but so many jobs these days are JavaScript. It's kind of hard to not write JavaScript, I feel. So we're going to build this admin interface with Feathers.js. It's a really simple framework. Started learning React. Cool. Yeah, React is the most popular right now. I mean, there's some other ones coming up. I've seen more Svelte, and Vue has been in the running for a while. It's still kind of growing. Dang. And by the way, that counter does not reset each stream. That is of all time. I just set it up though, so we're right in the beginning right now. So Feathers.js is a framework for real-time applications and REST APIs. We're just going to use the REST API part. It makes it so easy to get a REST API up and running, and I only need one endpoint right now. The other benefit that it has is it will also generate authentication for me, which is a huge save. I don't really need authentication on this app. I mainly just want the authentication so that I can log in, no one else can log in and edit my content, because the API is going to be publicly, I mean, the site's going to be up on the web, so I don't want anyone to just come to the site and start changing my content. So I'll need the authentication for that. But otherwise, the content will all be read anonymously. I imagine I'll make it publicly available just because I don't want to worry about setting up auth keys and stuff just yet, but I might do that. We'll see. And Surfy, you're a rookie at programming, huh? How long have you been programming now? How far are you into your journey? So we're going to get started with this. I already have, dang, at least I'm catching myself now. I already have the app generator installed globally, but it is probably out of date. So I'm going to reinstall it and see how that goes. So, you know, HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, Python. Been programming for around 3 years. Cool. Yeah, the first sites that I ever did were HTML and CSS only, no JavaScript. This was back in the day maybe 12 to 15 years ago. So JavaScript wasn't super hot on the scene yet. It was, available in browsers, but it wasn't the hotness like it is now. And I started building a content website for our skateboarding crew, which I'm actually in the process of rebuilding right now on Next. So that was the first site I built. I built it in GeoCities originally, but I ended up writing it custom by hand afterwards in HTML and CSS. So that's how I learned HTML and CSS originally, just by doing that. And then about 5 years in, I started learning JavaScript. So I took the slow road to get here, but I've been doing this for so long now that I've gotten a lot of experience with it, which is really why it seems easy to me compared to someone new. But I've tried to learn new things recently, like music and stuff, just to get that beginner mindset again, and it's hard. It's such a beatdown to see yourself failing over and over again, and I haven't had that in a long time, and so it was kind of humbling to see that again. Surfy, what language do you recommend? If you're looking to get a job, then JavaScript is definitely hot, but it also is flooded with beginners right now. Python's, I think, is a good one. If I was going to learn another language, I would probably go deeper into Python. You can do a lot of scripts with Python, which is fun. So a lot of my coding in the beginning started out as just scripts, and then I got more into actual object-oriented programming, building software and full applications and stuff. So I think those ones that you've picked are a good starting point. It depends what your goals are. Are you doing it for fun? Are you doing it to switch careers or get a new job or those kinds of things? Definitely look at the job market if a job is your goal, especially in the area where you want to work. A lot of things are becoming remote work these days, but a remote first-time dev job seems a little hard to come by, just because now that if it's remote and you're a junior dev, then you're now competing with so many people, and connections are really what's going to get you a job. I used to work at a boot for a couple years, and that's a great route too if you're interested in that, if you're looking at that. I also usually have career services tied to them, which help you with your resume and all that goodness and getting an actual job. And it could success, but it will cost you money. Learning on your own is totally doable. That's how I got my jobs. I didn't go to school for coding. I learned on my own. It just took longer. So, and it takes discipline, of course. But I guess it would take discipline either way. I mean, learning, if it was easy, everyone's going to do it. Which everyone's trying to do it, but there's some people that just still don't like it, Okay, this is done installing. Let me go up a directory. And I'm going to create a new one. Create the directory first, and then I go in there and run the generate. Okay. All this Markdown Content API and generate it in there. JavaScript, I don't want no TypeScript. TypeScript is not fun. Live in the source. I'm going to use Yarn because I've been using Yarn. I don't need socket.io, I just need REST. See how I converted that into some words there? Both are good. I probably won't write tests, but let's go with jest. Yes, I want authentication. It's coding style. I guess I'll go with ESLint. I don't know what standard.js looks like. And the auth, I'll just do a username and password for now. I don't need anything fancy. What is the name of the user entity service? Users, I'll keep that. The database, I'll do MongoDB. I'll keep that local string for now, but I need to update that. So Surfy, yeah, a lot of the first work I did was websites for friends, families, businesses. I did one for a local skate shop. I did one for a friend who hand crocheted beanies. I did one for a brother's coworker who had a daughter who was a gymnast, and she wanted a personal website as her kind of portfolio. So I'll count that. So those are how I got my initial paid work in. And those were paid gigs too, not a lot of money. You know, this is before I was doing this professionally full-time. I didn't start doing this full-time until a few years after that. That was when I was a teenager, actually. So nice for teenage money, you know. But I started there, just kept teching it up, next level, next level, next level. And eventually you will get there. I actually, I don't like writing full software as much. I write it like the way I write these applications is really bare bones and bug prone. It's for myself. In reality, the full-time software gigs, I haven't enjoyed them as much. I kind of miss the old days of just playing around with CSS and doing CSS stuff, not having to write TypeScript and tests and all that. It's just so much overhead to make a solid application that I've lost interest in that part of it. I just like the creative, let's spin it up and play with it and see what happens vibe. So I've been getting back to that with these apps, and that's the reason why I've got all these new projects that I've been working on. Okay, Feathers is launched. Let's open it in our code. Looks. So I'm going to need to update my config right now. Oh, I got my secret showing, but that's okay. We'll change that later. My MongoDB is pointing to my local. I don't have my Mongo local running. I tried to get it running, spent a day on it, could not. So we're going to create a database for it. Let me show you how you do. What is this app called? MongoDB Atlas. I wonder, let me pull this off screen real quick. So looking at that cloud service, I need to create some passwords and stuff, so that's why I'm pulling it off screen. And I've been noticing in my incognito windows, I think it keeps the sessions across all incognito windows. Let me test it real quick. So I'm logged in, MongoDB Atlas, on a different one. If I come here, no, it's not. Okay, I was wrong. Cool, let's look at... I'll bring this back over here for now, though. Mean Hustler by Trevor Bastow. That's a sweet name. So we're going to create a new database. It's going to be called Markdown Content API Dev. I have a smart keyboard thing to fix that in my text messages, but I don't want it fixed here. And the default collection name is just going to be posts. It's going to need users as well. Maybe I tried to run a migration and it busted. I don't know about that. Let's see. Markdown Content API dev. So, okay, this is access stuff. Let me pull that out real quick. Database access. Add a new database user using a no, not warehouse deals. What did I call it? What did I call that? Man, I'm so forgetful so quick. I should make one for what did I call that as well, because I say that a lot. Markdown and API -dev. And I built a password. Grant specific privileges. I want to be able to write what is my database name? This database. Okay, I think I've got it. I'll bring this back over here. Can I just put it in there like that? Yes, I can. Cool. So I've got that in there. I need to update an env .env.local. Let me do that off screen, of course. And this is going to be database URI. It's not the which is annoying. Do I have my other? One second. Pull down this. Other app real quick so I can copy that connection string. And this is called Markdown Content API Dev. Okay. Bringing it back on over. So this, I believe the way that we do this is we just say that, and it will look it up automatically. Production and test don't really have anything different. Let me rerun it and see. Or I guess I haven't. So how can I run All right, Surfy, thanks for hanging out. I like this song, Lit Dance Floor. So how can I run that Feathers database again? Like the migrations? Because it didn't. I think it tried to create them when I first joined, but then it couldn't. Let me see if one of these mention it. Okay. Hey, Magnetic, how's it going? I'm like debating if I should just redo it. I think I will. Good, good. We're working on a Markdown Content API. We just launched the Feathers app. And I started it without creating my database, and so it didn't create my users table, and I can't figure out how to get it to automatically do it, so I'm just going to run it again, I think. Magnetic, I haven't live streamed Code Wars yet. I could someday. I worked with a friend when he was interviewing, and we did a lot of Code Wars for fun. I tune into Coding Garden a lot for those when he used to do a lot of Code Wars, Code Codes. He hasn't done them in a while, actually. But I could. Is there some that you're fighting against right now, that, or you just like to tune into those ones to see how people are solving problems? Okay, I'm going to go up one directory, and I'm going to close. Actually, I'm going to keep this, oops, over here off screen, because I am going to want some of this information. Okay. So let's remove this. What languages are you working in, Magnetic? And we'll do it again. Take Markdown Content API. Feathers generate app. I want the JavaScript. I want to keep the project name. I don't care about the description. Keep the source. I'm going to use Yarn. I don't need real time. I'll take jest. The app does use authentication. I'll take ES standard. I'll use the username. Local service. MongoDB. The connection string. Let me pull this off. That was not a fair run. Oh, you're not even in high school yet, Magnetic. Haven't really learned database or much backend. Primarily do code wars in JavaScript. That's good. Yeah, starting out, learning how JavaScript works and solving. And once you realize that you have learned how to break down those problems and solve them in JavaScript, starting to do them in another language will be a lot easier. Because it's the logic in your head will stay the same. It's just the syntax of the language that's going to change. So it's good you're starting so young and getting it going. I was just telling Surfy earlier, my first websites that I made were back when I was a teenager. I was in high school at the time. But nowadays, kids are getting computers younger. I didn't get a computer till I was in high school. They weren't as common back then. But that's good that you're going on that stuff. Getting it started young. Oh, I did it wrong again. Okay, let me, sorry. Dash R. I pasted in it with the database URI name, and I just wanted the string. What an amateur, am I right? Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Oh, bye followers. No thanks, man. Ban your firearms. Sounds legit. Sorry I deleted it. I hope you got it in time, Surfy. I know those bots are popular on Twitch. Okay, Markdown content. Feathers generate app. And I'm going to go through the process one more time. JavaScript. Description, what folder, Yarn, REST. We're getting fast at pumping out Feathers apps, huh? I guess we're just going through this thing. It's not like we're doing anything fancy. User service, MongoDB. Okay, this is my connection string. Feeling good about this one. Okay, I think that worked. Let me check something real quick. Do I still have that window open? How do I refresh this? It's over here somewhere. There we go. Magnetic. Well, so I guess it didn't even do it. Maybe it'll create the stuff automatically later on. So I'm creating a Markdown Content API. Are you familiar with Markdown? It's basically a text format that converts to like an HTML format. And I'm building an API to allow me to write that stuff in and save it, and then I'm gonna pull it into my portfolio website when I'm done. Okay, let me bring this stuff back. I think it's good to go. What is the feathers command to? Run the app. Generated. Start. Oh no, dev. Mongo parse error. I think it doesn't work with these special Mongo URLs. Let me pull it out again. Plus, there's a plus SRV, and I think that thing's not working. Mongo parse error. Let me see what else it could be. It could also be that it's not pulling in my env. Yeah, that might be more likely. Let me try renaming it. I've been in Next.js land for a little while. I don't exactly remember. We're on the struggle bus today, everybody. Mongo parse error? Okay, let me try some other stuff real quick. Oops. I'm gonna try putting it directly in the yeah. So that one worked. Mongo network error. Okay, I think it's working. Let me double check something because it should be pulling, hey turkey dev, cute little turkey emote. Surfing, I do have other hobbies. Not of that on stream. I am pretty big into photography, especially lately during COVID times. The reason I built that Warehouse Deals app was so that I could track deals on Amazon because they'll sell like camera lenses through Amazon warehouse used, and it'll be like $100 off, which is a great deal. So that's why I turkey dev. I know. Hey, it still counts to me. The raid was nice. I enjoyed it. I didn't get to see the rolling that it had, but I think Mewtwo was the most upset about it. And I also, Surfy, I also grew up skateboarding. I haven't skateboarded recently, let's be honest. But a lot of it was, I was the filmer for our skateboard crew, and then I started building the website, and so that's how I got into this coding stuff. And so coding has been my career for the last over a decade. So I do a lot of coding stuff for fun, but not. I've been playing some video games recently, not a ton. I play a lot of Rocket League. I played through Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was amazing. But I usually play more games that I can play with other people. So, haven't done any of that other stuff on stream yet, though. It's been just coding so far. Maybe someday. I would like to do some more design stuff, too. I'm always trying to get better at design stuff, though I haven't really put the effort in again. So this is working. Let me see. Feathers use environment variables. And there is a way to include it. So this is what we have right now. We're listing it hardcoded. And I want to do this. And I did that, but it is not pulling in my local environment variables. And I'm wondering if I need to do something. I thought it pulled it in by default, but I must be wrong. I mean, I guess I'll pull .env in and do that. Let me fix it. Okay, and so I'll show you what I'm doing. Oh, not import. Require .env.config. So I added that package, and I added an env.local. It didn't seem to be loading it for some reason. So I'm just going to do this the old way and pull that in. And we'll see if it works. Yarn dev. No, still. Let me look at this connection. Mongo client connection. It should be getting it here. Maybe that's why. See, it should be pulling it from database Yuri. Let me change something real quick again. Just to see if it's actually loading this file. And then over here in my MongoDBs, I'm pulling the database URIs. I added that to my local one. Let me see if it loads this. No, definitely doesn't. Okay, so instead of that, I'm gonna have to fix that later. Let me set it. I think this should come after here. I'm going to say app.set MongoDB to process.env.database URI underscore URI. And then that should, I'm going to do URIs real quick while we test it. Okay. Now we should see it. How about this? Oh, it's not loading that at all still. What's the deal? Is it because it's .local? Yes, it is. Okay. Let me add the hack back in and see if that works. I've never had this much trouble with feathers before. Okay, so that's working. So I'll drop that. I will go back to just database URI. And leave that. Okay, and it should connect. Whew! Okay, great. Well, that was a big roundabout and annoying, and that is not ideal still, but we'll keep it for now. It'll get us up and running. Remember when I said this was so easy? That was the good old days. Okay. So, how do I create a user? Post to users with an email and password. We could do that. Let's see if it works though. Got a num there. Let's open Postman. Working. Moving the satellites. Seems like a lot of work. Almost an hour in and we've got a connection to a database. Oops. Come on, I don't care about the latest version. I want to post HTTP localhost 3030/users content type application/JSON body raw. I'm going to use test@mail.com and my password is going to be password. Send. Database name's too long. Okay. So that's an issue with my env file. And I will bring that back. Let's try it again. Let me kill this in case I need to restart it. 9 ums in an hour, not so bad. It is a new record since we started counting. There it is, test email. Cool, so now I should have this user refresh. Enhance. I got a users table. I already made the post table manually. There it is. There's my hash password. Test@mail.com. Don't forget that. Okay. So now let's do some. Do they have? I want to generate a service. So they call them services. It's kind of like their data entity. Generating a service. Feathers generate services. And obviously it's going to be called posts. What kind of service is it? MongoDB. What is the name of the service? Posts? Yes. Does the service require authentication? Let's say yes. Okay, and that will have generated some new code for us. In the services, we now have posts, we got a post class, hooks, and the post service. So Feathers just generates a lot of code for us, which is awesome. Most of this you don't even need to come into to edit. We'll come into this hooks. Mountain Trash Panda? Oh, hi. I think I know who that is. That little raccoon? Oh, that's cute. Account created 2 minutes ago. You're fresh to Twitch, huh? So before all, I don't really want to do all. I want to do this on before create, before update, before patch, and before remove. So what that's going to do is, this is kind of like middlewares, our hooks here. So anytime we run a create command on the posts, which would be basically a post, or anytime we try to create a post, it will be forced to authenticate through the jot. And if it can't, it will fail. I don't care about getting or finding because I want you to be able to find everything. And I actually don't care to hook up the authentication right now. So I'm just going to keep these. I'm going to keep the remove. I guess I'll just comment these out for now because these are defaults. So we'll leave that there. Cool. So I should be able to create a post if I want to. Let me see, what data did I want to put on there? So API authentication, I'll call that done. Create a post. We want title, content, and a parent. Parent ID. I don't need a parent for the first one though, of course. And I can do this directly in here. If I do posts, I'll make it a post request. I'll do the body raw, set it to application JSON, and the title is my first post. Isn't that cute? Content is going to be basic content. And I don't need a parent ID just yet. So let's send that, create one. Is my server running? It's not. Okay. My first post. Let's go look at that in our database. Posts. There it is. Wow, so easy. This is the easy I was talking about. Okay, should we pull that into our dev site locally? For now, let's get it. Let's do it. This is in my ched.dev site. So you'll see eventually I'm going, oh, I need a slug too. Eventually, I will have all of them there. And that would be great. So the way that you can pull it into your website is just using Feathers as a client. Let me show you that. I think it's front-end frameworks. Client-side docs. Where is... I guess it's in here. So I just need the Feathers client. This one, I think? No, Node, React Native, create React app. Yeah, I want this one. Welcome back, Magnetic. We got our database up and running. We created a user, we created a post with Postman, and now we're trying to pull it into the content page real quick. So yarn add, this is not the right app. I want to do this in this one. Yarn add Feathers client. Cool. No, this is also yarn dev. So let's pull up that code. I'm going to build a little separate thing for this. Posts? Oh, those are utils. Data/store.js. I'll probably end up changing this later on. Magnetic. I did create a Discord server recently just to alert things, but I haven't set it up per se, so hopefully I will start doing that soon. There's no one else in it, it's just me. But I would like to get that up and running and going at some point, so not yet. Sorry. Tune in another time and we will have it hopefully then. Okay, so the Feathers client, what we want to do is import this, and then do a const app feathers, and then I think we can just do this stuff like data store. I will call it posts, and I'll just find all right now. I think that's how I do it. Let me see. It is services find. Service.find. I believe that's it. Good idea, Discord. Yeah. My Discord communities have been growing quite a bit lately. I've joined a couple others myself, and there's just a lot going on there. It's kind of hard to keep track of, but once I am, streaming more regularly, which I am starting now to do, it's nice to have that. Communicate when I'm streaming and whatnot, so. Okay, I think that will pull it all in. I'm gonna await. Can I await in the top level like that? I don't think so. Let me do this. Export data store. And I'll say const data store equals async. This is going to be an immediately evoking async. There we go. A return posts await service. This is actually should be posts. Oh yeah, share code. Yeah, there's a lot you can do on Discord that you can't really paste a big long block of code, and Twitch chat is not fun. Okay, I think that should have it. Let me try it now. Import data store from src/data/store. Just SML. Is that how you say it? Just SML? How do you just small? What's up, man? How's it going? Good to see you again. So this should have data store.posts. Let me console log it out. Data store posts. And let's see it on the front end. What do you mean you can't hear me? Turn your sound on. Find. Okay, what did I do wrong there? blasting to a Bluetooth? You mean a different Bluetooth device, the wrong one? Service. I mean, that's how they're using it here. Is it because I didn't? Oh man, you fell for the old connected to the wrong speaker thing. Oh, I do that all the time. You know, and you go to the bathroom and you're connected to the speaker in the living room still, and you're you flipping through Instagram or Twitter or something. Foiled. So guilty. We're all guilty of that one. I know that's a thing. I mean, it's not fine here. It's probably not connecting correctly. I think I might need this as well. Let me add that. Kill it. Yarn add feathers rest client. And then I want this. So up in my data store, I'm getting some feathers errors. I'm playing with feathers.js. I haven't set this up in a while. And so I'm messing up the setup. But I think I'm getting close. So it should be that, app configure, that, and then I should have the services. I think they give me fetch in a Next.js app by default, so. Okay, so now let me try that. Refresh. Rest is not defined. Yeah, that makes sense. I forgot to import it. Fetch is global, but also in Next.js, because it is server-side as well, they automatically include node fetch for you. So you can use fetch on the node side as well. And because of the server-generated server-side rendering, when they try to pre-build the page, they don't have fetch, so they just throw it in there as well, which is nice. There's a lot of little gotchas when you start working in Next and you think about all these weird server-side scenarios that you didn't render stuff in, or you did something wrong. Okay. Import REST from Feathers REST client. Failed to fetch. Let's see. I bet I'm not running my server. Yeah. And I think that's it. There's no posts. But It is working. Why didn't it return any posts? Oh, it did. It's .data. Cool. Finding the missing DOM browser APIs like local storage. Yeah, I use local storage a lot as a first kind of data store one before I set up a database, and it gets me caught every time. But as long as we're aware of it. Okay, so here I want to find, this is fine. Why is that undefined though? Where was I? It's probably coming back after. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I spent a lot of time off stream playing with designs. So this is the second version. I made a first one and it was a white background and I just hated it. I hate bright screens. And I was like thinking I'll just make a dark version later on, but then I decided I'm just gonna go dark first and then I'll design the light later on. Whoever wants that. I want to say instead of data, let's just do data store API. I'll just call it API, and that will be, I'll call it app because it's already the app. I haven't used CSS variables much. I'm still using Sass. And I'm using the old Sass, the real Sass. I started using this at work, and I really enjoy it because once it starts getting long like this, it saves so much space with all the curly braces and semicolons removed. So I've actually warmed up to it, and I've been using this as a fan. The post key point to a function call. So here, usually you do app.service posts, and then .find will return all the results. And I saw in the request it actually did return all of them. It's just not working there. So let me run this in my actual file. Do it in the use effect. Actually, I'll write a new use effect because I only want this to run once. Datastore.app, and this will be an empty array. What comes back there? I've never used Pug before. That could be a lot quicker too, but oh, I had an error already. Service of undefined. What's wrong with my app? Is that probably why it's returning undefined there? Datastore.posts. Where? And that's what I'm doing here, and that's coming back as undefined. Let me, is my data store just not an arrow function before the await executed on the other side? My thought is that this should all be done because it's immediately invoked. I'm thinking it's a timing thing too. But I want it to, once I import it here, I want it to already with the data. I don't want to have to re-request the data, you know? So maybe I just need to see how this async in the top level is throwing me off. Is it because I would need to await this as well? That's probably why, huh? Yeah, let me just comment this stuff out for now. And I'll just do it in the thing. Oops. And I'll just, I mean, I could just drop this off. And then in here, instead of doing the data store posts, I'll do posts.find and await this async that. Refresh. Result. Data. Okay. Let me do a const posts set posts. Those will be empty. I'm sure I'll come back and refactor this later, but for now, data. My first post! Ooh, there it is. I'm overriding the variable, that's why it's busted there. Because in these ones they have IDs and children and such. Okay, so that's good enough for me to get it running in there. What I really want to do is get the Markdown stuff going. So let me look at that. And that's going to happen in the posts. I'll comment that part out. The create. I'll say, leave that comment in there. Convert Markdown. I might add MDX support later on. But right now, I just want to get the Markdown wording. MDX is, I did it in a project at work and it was fun. But since I'm using this content on another server, I'm writing it on another server, I would have to send down the Markdown and then convert the MDX in my app, right, for it to work. If I run Markdown or MDX and it doesn't have that actual component on the server, then it's not going to work. I can't send like a React component over the wire, you know? So yeah, I think I would need to do that in my Next.js app, not my Feathers app. But let's build a little convert Markdown function. And this takes a context. This is kind of the bulk of the hooks when you're editing hooks in Feathers. You get this context object and it has all the data you need. Let's see if we can show you. It's up in hooks, hook context. So these are all the variables or methods, not methods, members that are available to you. The app, service, path, method that we're using right now, like a create, whatever, params, if there's params, the ID, the data, context.data. So this one is a writable property, and if you put something on the context.data, that's what will get returned, I think, or is that the result? Could be the result. This is where I got it a little bit mixed up, but basically I want to pull the input. I think the context.data, let me see if I do, if I return false, I think it should cancel console log context, and I'll call it context. So then now when I do this, I think it should fail. Nope. But we should see our context here. It's a big one, and I forgot it includes the whole request. But let's look down here, just the bottom, params. Data. So the data is what they sent in. Cat scratching back there. So, come here. You ever seen my cat before, just Simone? Hold on. Let me get her. This is Zoe. Kitty. She likes cuddles and wet food. How's your kitty doing? Pretty big now? Tearing up the house? I think I remember you saying your cat learned to open doors. Is that your cat? Okay, so here I got the data. I got the content coming in, and the content is going to be Markdown, theoretically. So what I want to do is context.data.content. And I want to use a library for this. I used it in another code base. Let me pull that up. I think that is in which project was that in? It's in the Next.js demo. I'm using remark and remark HTML. So this is just basic and not MBX, but basic Markdown. Let me include these in here. And I also want to add those to my project. So I will kill that yarn add remark and remark HTML. Okay. Bring that back up. So I'll say if there is content, then the data, I'm going to do content HTML, and let me look at that code. How did I do it in here? Right here. That one. Equals await async function. I haven't used async await in feathers yet. I wonder if it causes any issues places. More GitHub-like Markdown. I didn't do it in my last one. Process, data body, and that should be this one, content. I guess I'll just pull data out. And drop all these off. Actually, no, because I want to keep it on the context. My bad. Okay, content HTML, but I do want to pull. Which options are those? Package marked. I'm not using mark though. I'm using, what was the other? What was it called? I don't know. Remark. I'll probably add more of those later. So, context data content. Okay, so ideally, did it create that extra one? Oops. In my database? I think it did on accident. I didn't want it to. Delete that. There's a way to return something, the result, or maybe it's an error. If I return an error, throwing an error. This is what I'm thinking about. So setting context result. If I set the context result in a before hook, then it will skip the actual like database creation and stuff, which is kind of what I want to do in this example, because I don't want to save it each time while I'm testing. So I'm going to say context.result equals context.data. And then I'll return context. And I think that should skip the saving, but still process the rest of it. There it is, basic content. Let's write some Markdown. Basic content. Do you even code? Hello, world. And there it is. Block quotes and strongs. We've got it all. And I actually don't want to call this content. This is going to be called body. Oops. So let me update that. Let me stop logging this, because that is long. Body HTML, body. Oops, I want to go back here. It's a working! Great. So let's save it now. Let me delete my first post. Cat's getting crazy. And so there should be no posts in here now. Correct. Posts is empty. And let me not do the results. And then let's create this one. So there will be an ID. It'll be an underscore ID. There was also slug. Sent So now this should have, there is my first post. And I'm not actually showing content on that page, but let's show it for you real quick. Not this project. I can close that one out now. This one, if there is, I also have some tags that could work. Post.body HTML and dangerously set inner HTML. Is it underscore dangerous set inner HTML, I believe. HTML is post.body HTML. Nope. Hey, you stay down. What did I do wrong there? That could be wrong. I think I want that project open again. I did it on this page. Oh, no underscores on dangerously set. There it is, basic content. And it's a header, it's a block quote, it's a paragraph. Zoe is going crazy. Cool, so I'm getting that content there. So let me Zoe, come here. Come here. The internet wants to see you. Come here. Come here. Oh. I had to drag her. Oh, had to drag her. Here's a Zoe appearance again, everyone. Feisty. She's hooked up. Okay, you go. You go. You know, once I get affiliate, I can make it a channel reward to get Zoe time. She could be internet famous. Hi, Jaybreak. She does have an Instagram. I don't know what it is. I think it's Black Cat Zoe. Black Cat Zoe. Yep, that's her. She is sassy. Look, she's cuddling next to my headphones in this one. Always sleeping, always cute. So if you want to see what's up with Zoe, if you're not allergic to cats, then go ahead and hang out with her on Instagram. Okay, So what do I want to look at next? About an hour and 40 in. What's on my to-do list here? I have CRUD, so the CRUD is set up. I don't have a UI for it. It's got title, body. It doesn't have a parent yet. We could try adding a parent. Title, slug, body parent. And we could try getting that children part going. Let's do that. Okay. Back to the, let me close out this project again, and then back to, did I close out the other one too? That's weird. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. And we were working in, so this is where I would put my middleware. So let's do that. Or actually hooks. New file. Hooks slash convert markdown.js. And let's take that and we'll do it in there. I'll move these over. Oops, this would be convert markdown require. Can I just do like src slash hooks slash convert markdown? I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll see. Are any of these? No. So that will convert it to Markdown before we save it. And then whenever we read, it will always be in the database for us already. There's a few ways you could do it. You could only convert it when you pull it back down. But for now, I'll just keep it as it is. And then when we find we want to this shouldn't be a before, this should be an after hook. Before create, we will do that after find, attach children posts. And this will be a new one that we're going to create. Let me spell require right. And this would be src slash I like the song, Fantastic Journey. I have disabled a lot of the pop-ups in VS Code because they were just driving me insane. I would get distracted. It would pop up and I would forget what I was doing. So I tried to just go raw without them. It does do some IntelliSense. These aren't working right now, I think because this is not set up correctly. What I really want, I will fix that in a second, but new file, attach children posts.js, export defaults, async function. And this will take the context. So I want what I have. Why is it closing the other ones? Did I do something to close the window and how did that happen? It's only doing one now, one at a time. Oh. Yeah, that's what the autocompletes were driving me nuts. So that when I do open recent, it closes the current window and then opens another one. That's why it was closing it. That's confusing as well. Yeah, send me that ticket. I'll sign up for that. And it was so hard to figure out how to turn those things off. I disabled basically every pop-up because I couldn't figure out which one it was. It was super difficult. So that's why I don't see really any pop-ups anymore. I'm sure I could be more efficient, but I haven't worried about it. So I want to look at this one. I want to see this JS config. I don't know if this will work in Feathers. Let's try it. Was it JSON config? Or, no, it was JS config.json. It's not the right folder, but let's on the lowercase config. And let's see if it honors that. No. Okay. So I'll just have to do the long path names. I think it's up to, yeah. Oh yeah, this is common JS. I'm used to writing in Next where I have access to import and export. Tab 9, is that a whole different autocomplete feature? Uh-oh, so it's trying to get up. Down. So I'm going to log out this context and see what's on it in the find, but it should be, I think it would be on context.result, only available in the afterhooks. And I should see it here. I mean, I'll refresh that and then I should see it. Yeah. So there's the data. So I want to pull this and I want to say, I guess I just want to pull any children for this ID. Oh, see, that's what autocomplete should do. Like, there's so many times where I go to type something and it just picks something I've never used before. Like, what's the help in that, you know? It should be context aware, pun intended, sort of. So the way I can do this is the context.app, and then I can say service posts.find, and I want to find all where the parent ID is equal to the context result ID. There should be none. This would be context.results.children. Actually, that's not right. The result is on the data. Results data.children. And this should be context results.data.id. And I think that would, I think that should attach any one that it finds. Let's see if it even runs still. Okay, does work, okay. And I should have a children array that's empty. No. Oh, the data, it's returning a single result. That's annoying. I guess I'm not doing find one. That makes sense. Yeah, let me open that VS Code discussion. Tooltips get in the way of general operations in the editor. Yeah, see, I totally want the modifier key, and I thought they had that at some point, but just with the config settings, it's so confusing. I like that idea. Upvote. Is that what you want, the upvote, or should we, can I upvote this whole thing, or what? I'm gonna upvote the whole thing too. 100! Okay, so what I really want to do I'm going to be a little janky. This should be in await as well. So, oh, it's not even on data, it's on result. Result.data. I'm going to need to rewrite a lot of this code. But, okay, let's see. So what we want to do is upvotes all around. Context results dot data dot map. And then I'll call that result. I'm going to manually attach these things here, so beforehand I'm going to const all posts equals services posts dot find. This is probably not the most efficient way to do it, but we're going to do it. So this should find everything. Find all the posts. And I want to do the dot data. And then I'm going to go through here, and so the result, I'm going to say, I'll put result.children all posts, filter where the p dot parent ID, I believe I called it, is equal to wrap the await up to dot data in parens. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Good point, good point. Await that, then get the data. Where the parent ID is equal to the results dot ID. And I think that should be it. I can drop this. Does that look right to you? Go through all the posts, filter it down to just the posts where they match the parent ID, and then attach those to the children. Otherwise, we should get an empty children. Oh, I think it's going to fail. Uh-oh. It was hanging. What did I do wrong? Ah, you know what? I bet it's because I'm doing this, running the find, it comes back, it runs the after in that as well, that hook, and it just keeps running it and running it and running it. Maybe this isn't the best way to do it. I wonder if I could do it in the query or adjust the query somehow. Or there's also a way to just say run this without doing any of the events. Oh, they have some async await stuff. It's highly recommended. So I've done something like this before. Let me see. Where do they mention what params? What? This is really old, too. hook.params.fromOtherHook. So that's how we could pass it in? Yeah, but I think this is still the context, and then they're basically putting something on the context, and then they're only running it if that's the case, you know? So maybe I could do something like that. I could say this, pass it in here, but is that the one I just clicked on? Yeah. Why didn't it change color? How does the find query I mean, I could I wonder if I just pass something in there. No hooks, true. Let me try that. And instead of context.result, let me just log out the context to see what it looks like. Params. Sorry, that should be params. I think it worked. Yeah. But let's see what it looked like. Params, no hooks, true. Okay, so I just passed it in there. Seems a little wonky, but whatever. Okay. But it is working. It's getting all of the children. But I have no children that are children yet. I have no children yet. So let's try adding one. We'll do it in here. My child post, and this, let me pull it from the actual app because I deleted some of these. I'm not sure which ones. Oh, just SML. How could you? You know that would add so much time. There's no time. There's not enough time, man. Why? It could, if I was using the TypeScript version, for feathers it would be nice to include all that stuff. I get that. But I just hate writing TypeScript. I'm so slow at it. It throws so many errors. You know, oh wait, I want to go here and I want to say parent ID is that. Send it. They had an option to start out as a TypeScript project, but I chose not to. Okay, okay. So got the children, but they're not matching. I ran into this issue before where because the strings were object IDs on a different app, it was not working. So parent ID toString, I had to convert it to toString. There it is. See how it has articles? And there it is. Boom. So let me take out that content in here. I don't actually want that there. That was just to show that it was loading. But my first post and my child post is there. So another thing is when I'm pulling all the posts, I don't want to pull any posts that have a parent attached to it. So that would be a find hook in here. Go back here. Params, no hooks. I don't know about that name. What should I call it? I should update those Stack Overflow questions, get some points. I've got 2 Stack Overflow questions. I'm gonna update this one because it's terrible. I guess that is the right answer. But I've got 2, oh, I'm not logged in here, you can't see them. Sorry, hold on, let me log in. So you'll see, no, that's not the right one at all. This one. I got another 10 points from it yesterday. So there's 2 how to tell Webpack dev server to serve index.html for any route. And also how to set a default attribute value for a Laravel Eloquent model. These 2 have been getting me all my points on Stack Overflow. I guess I answered that question. I thought I wrote it too, but that's a really old one. Look at that. I wrote that in 2015. Wow. You've never seen Stack Overflow, Surfy? You're going to spend the rest of your life here. So this is where you go for, if you're searching for something on the web, dev related, dev issues, Stack Overflow is probably your top resource. And it's, everyone asking questions about, I ran into this problem, what's wrong? And then smart people come in and say, well, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And you learn how to use this. This is going to be one of your top resources. But yeah, I answered that December 2015. I've been getting points for years on that. Top answer, 183. It's pretty good. And then the other one, which one was it? Is how to set a default attribute in Laravel. This is back when I used to write Laravel code. And if you only need the correct answer 30% of the time. Yeah, it's definitely a skill to decipher what's good and bad. Usually, I don't even bother reading the question because it'll confuse you more. I usually go straight to the top answer and I look at the code because I kind of have an idea of what works and what doesn't. It took me a while to get to this point, and I just want a verification of like, yeah, that works, or no, that doesn't work, to save time. So this one's got 83, but the selected answer is actually a different one. This helped a lot. 2014, this one's even older, 2013. Wow. So this is in Laravel 4, which is really old. So they're probably even out of date. I'm surprised people are still liking those things. There's got to be a better way now. Start at the bottom and scroll to find any newer. Hey, this is insecure sort of updates. Yeah. Also, you do have to be aware of the dates, like how Just SML pointed out that this is from 2017. That means it's old, so it could be in an older version of the framework that they're talking about, where this doesn't apply anymore. However, this code is similar enough to the new, actually this code is the answer, similar enough to their docs that I think it would still work. And I know that this hook is actually the context variable and the params, so I can see what they're doing with it, and I did think it would work, so that's why I tried it. But there is a lot of cases where it's just trash. You find a lot of trash. A lot of people copy paste stuff out of here and they don't know what it does, and it's not a good idea. So it's a skill, it's an additional skill to development you're going to learn along the way. And the better you get at it, the better you are. Mostly these days, I rely on docs a lot because in my head, I know a little bit more what does and doesn't work, and I look at their docs to see how did they do it? Is this how they kind of expect me to do it? Because you can get in a pretty big rabbit hole in Stack Overflow. But I will probably, there might be a nice update on here. I guess I'm not logged in on this one. I'll have to upvote it later. Okay, where were we? So I don't want to pull any items that have children. So I'll say in my post hooks, let me switch back there. Post hooks before find. I could say exclude children, but nah. Let's say exclude children posts. So hopefully by now you kind of have an idea of how this hook system is working. You have before, after, and error hooks. And this is how you tap into all the API endpoints in Feathers. And you're basically just writing these little chunks of code that will give my app the functionality. I don't have to write a lot of the authentication and endpoints and all that. I don't have to worry about that stuff, which is really nice. But there is, some additional gotchas that I'm running into with feathers instead. Hooks / exclude children posts. Module.exports equals async function. This takes the context. I'll return. I don't think I need to even return the context, actually. So in here, I want to say if context.params dot include children, then I'll just return. Otherwise, I'm going to automatically pull them out. So it gives you an option to hook into that to include additional children, which I will want to do actually in this one, because I do want to include all the children there, because I'm going to use them to attach. I think that's okay for now. So in here I want to, and actually I want to do maybe I don't want to do this in a before. Maybe I also want to do this in an after. I think I do. Because I want to say context.result dot data map post. Not map, I want to filter. Where any post dot parent ID. If it has a parent ID, I only want it if it doesn't have a parent ID. And I want to set that context to result dot data. There's probably other data on that result that I want to update too, but let's just try this for now. So I don't want to do this in the before. I want to do it in the after, because I want to get all of them. Actually, I do want to do it in the before, because I don't want to if it's include the children there, I want to change the query. I'm going to leave this commented out in case I want to come back to that later, but context.query is that what it was in modules? I think let me look at their docs again. BRB. So I want to look at the hooks, context. Is it just params? Data? Including params query. This is what I want to see. So params.query and I wonder if that is the query for the database. I think it is. params. See the rest. Params.query. So I want to say anything is not in MongoDB query empty field. Find where item exists. Okay, let's try that. Where I want to say parent ID exists. False. Must not have parent ID. And let's see if that works. Invalid query parameter exists. So what would you call it? And I also want to expand anything else that's on there in case I have other ones. So does this thing just not use this might be it. Doing this very wrong. Let's see. Feathers.js change. And before hook. Not book, hook. Exists. It says to use exists. that the API returned with doesn't understand exists, right? Okay. I'll have to mess with that later off stream. We'll do the cheesy way for now, and I'll just filter it down. And I will do it before dance, 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 dance. I think that should work. There it is. Let's make some more posts, huh? Should have a unique key. Let me fix this real quick. Where's my .ids? I want to replace them with underscore ID. Not that one. Where did I put that ID? This one. Okay. Yeah, let's create another post. Well, let me show you what was working with the code, sorry. So I moved it to the after find, so I exclude all children posts first, and then I attach the children posts. And if I explicitly say to include children, which I do here, because this will give me all of the children for this command, and then we'll skip the hooks. I'll do this, attach children, false. If we do not want to attach children, that's better. That's cool. So if I had a hook, I did fine, I say attach children. That's pretty cool. Let me make sure that still works. Ah, didn't there. Oh, attached. Include children? No, I don't want to attach children, but I want to include the children. See, that should work. go back to what it was. Is it because, let's say fetch children. I'll say include all. Include all true. And then if so that should work. Let me see. Yes. There's no children now. Is that going to cause it to? I don't know why that's not working, but fix it later. We'll fix it later. There we go. Okay, now to create a new post. So I'll say second post. I'll keep the same content. I don't really care about that. Drop out the parent ID. Send it. Ooh, it's created. Now let's copy this and we'll add that back in as the parent ID. Another child post. Created another child post. Final child post. Okay, we should have more. Boom, first post, second post, and this one has 2. All right. So I'll need to build a UI to do this. To do more, to actually enter this content, but from a high level, we are getting our posts and we have children posts. So let me update this. Title slug body parent. I got that. Check it off. And eventually I want to add ordering and tags. That'll be also UI related stuff. So maybe on the next stream we'll do UI related stuff. But I'm ready to call that a day. Let's see. There's someone out there we can raid. Oh, Bashy Bunny. I'm going to raid Bashy Bunny. Just SML, if you're still here, thanks for tuning in. See you later. Surfy, Magnetic. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'll be back maybe later this week or weekend, and we'll be working on some more of this project, unless I run into some bugs on the other projects. Okay, let me get the Bashy Bunny going. Oh, and Mountain Trash Panda. You too. You too. Bash Bunny. If you haven't seen her yet, she's, I think, computer science student, but also building stuff on stream right now. It's pretty funny. She's got a drop game. It's fun to play. Drop in there. I got some 98s yesterday. It's pretty good. Let me open it. Oh, I do still have the Twitch chat. Let me open. Okay. Raid is happening soon. I think she just got raided because it looks like her number of people just jumped up. All right, y'all, let's go over there. Catch you on the other side. Bye.